Hello and welcome back to Driving Home again.
Welcome.
We are going to discuss something which I think is quite topical because we are about to give you a very good example of what we mean. Effectively, it's why public transport in the UK now, of course, and I would say mainly for anywhere outside of London.
Yeah, if you live in inner city London, this probably isn't good. Just stop listening now.
Yeah, why it ultimately will never, if it carries on as it is anyway, never replace
personal transport.
No, the personal transportation, whether it's electric or petrol.
Yeah.
But now electric's becoming a greener alternative.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as green as public transport because if you're one of those that has to go to someone for buying a diesel car because of the environment.
And has two dogs.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but no, that's not the right thing to do because the best thing you can do for the environment is to get rid of your personal transportation altogether.
And get public transport.
So you're basically saying, I'm the lesser of two evils, so I'm going to have a go at you.
I'm just slightly better than you.
Yeah, or even much. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. I'm still doing harm.
I want to make you feel bad about this.
Yes. Shall we start off at the of what's created this entire idea?
Yeah, let's because this has just come out of pure chance, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been invited.
We don't use public transport probably as much as we should or could.
Well, we can't do because
we'll get to that though.
Well, yeah, we'll be all right.
So we've been invited to Scotland.
The EV rally of Scotland.
So we've it's basically said you make your own way up.
Yep.
We'll pay for your expenses for travelling. And we went, brilliant. Let's get a train.
Because the cars they're giving us over the 3 days we'll be there are in Scotland.
Yeah.
We're not getting them here.
Basically, we go to point A, drive to point C, point A to point B to point C. And then we have to get a train from point C to home.
Yeah, so ultimately we're going, shall we just cut to the chase? We're going to Fort William and back again.
Yeah.
On a train.
And we thought, let's go on the train because that'd be brilliant. We just get to chill out, sit down, maybe get a bit of laptop time,
Get some editing done.
Yeah. And maybe even we could, leapfrog to first class and enjoy the comforts of that.
Well, yeah, maybe we do it. That would be handy because I'm sure that there is a train that does that on that route as well. And bear in mind, this is from Yorkshire.
This is from Yorkshire, yeah. So we put this into thetrainline.com, which I've used to buy tickets in the past.
It does split ticketing, and we should make aware. We've done everything to try and, we've run people up. Yeah, we've done all the usual tricks.
We're from Yorkshire. We want to pay the least, even though it's not our money.
Yeah.
We want to pay the least as possible.
And we have to go on these times and dates.
We have to be there on the Sunday, and we have to leave
because it starts Monday morning.
It does, yeah. We need to get there. So we put this into the train line.
These are actual prices.
Yeah, I'm
2 months in advance as well.
I'm struggling to say this figure because no one's going to believe it. So I don't know if we include some proof of this somewhere.
This is for two people.
Two adults.
They're Fort William and back again from Yorkshire.
So that's for £638.40
to get to Scotland and back.
Yeah, on a Sunday and coming back on a Wednesday. On the Sunday, we leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because this is the only ones available, and we get there at 6 minutes past 10
at night.
At night, yeah. Coming back, we leave at 7:45, get back at 4 o'clockish.
And Fort William's a long way. In anything, it doesn't sound a lot longer than Glasgow, but it's about 2.5 hours beyond Glasgow.
It's a long way. £638.40.
Now I don't care who's paying for it. I refuse to pay that.
I can't believe they put that price. Do you know? I'd just say it wasn't available. I'd be like, no, it's not available.
Now I've done my own research.
Have you?
Yes, I had a look, and we can go somewhere for
Skegness.
£38.41 less than that.
And is it out of the country?
It is.
Wow.
And this place that we visit, we've never been to before. It's there and back with one change. So it's not direct.
This has two changes. So you're winning on top trumps.
And it's quicker.
And we get to go on a plane.
And it's on a plane. And guess where we can get to and back again for less than Scotland and back.
Oh, I'm guessing it's got to be somewhere in Europe.
New York.
No way.
We can fly on them dates, and this is
the question.
Same dates.
Why are we doing the EV rally?
I don't know. So this is going on the same Sunday, coming back on the same Wednesday. So we're restricted to the same. Yeah. And it's there and back for both of us, and it's just under £600 for the return flight to New York. 638 for Scotland, and we've tried everything. We're not cherry picked expensive ones here.
Right, so how on earth can a plane, which I'm guessing costs more than a train, flies in the sky
with lots of fuel,
burning fuel,
yep,
be cheaper?
Very bad for the environment as well.
Yep, can be cheaper than something that is predominantly going to be electric until the last bit.
And we should point out that on the news 2 days ago they said that
you can just go
flights to America. No, it was bookings for flights to America have gone up 70% because they've just announced that you can go there.
Yeah. So so
the flights I've just mentioned are accounting for this boom. So it would have been cheaper than that a week or two ago. So ultimately, it's cheaper to fly to New York and back than to go to Fort William and back on a train. How can that be?
That is just crazy, isn't it?
And then we look at this from a car...
it's Fort William, you know.
yeah. But if we look at this going in a car, if we go in an electric vehicle, I bet we can do that for 1/10 of the cost.
Well, yeah.
Less than 1/10 of the cost, in fact.
If you travelled that...
Even on public transportation, public charging.
If you did that once every 3 months, it would be cheaper to lease a car.
They probably would.
You get an up.
Yeah. Even an electric car.
Yeah.
I mean, that should never be.
That is... It's just... You can see why people go... Well, do you know this? The railway was made as a low-cost transportation for the common people. To let people who couldn't afford a horse travel.
Public transportation.
Yeah. So what's happened now is it's just for posh people. I'm afraid you can't
not
get
even posh because that's not first class. How much is first class? Have you still got it up?
First class would have been nearly £900.
There and back.
Yeah. £488 each way.
So nearly £900.
In
fact, no, it's over 900. It's 960 odd quid. Nearly £1,000. First class. Yeah, and that will only be to Edinburgh, I bet. It won't be first class from Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's over 900, yeah.
Nearly £1,000.
Wow. That's crazy.
I mean...
I went to Greece for a week with my daughter.
Before the pandemic. Yeah.
For £1,000. And we stayed in a really nice place.
Yeah, but what you're forgetting is that includes accommodation.
For a week.
I mean, this is a bizarre thing. In a week, just over a week from now, me and Lorna and Alice are going down to London.
Yeah.
On the train, because it makes sense to.
Oh, it does, yeah.
And that is costing us, and we booked it roughly at the same time this came out. We'll start looking at this as well. That's costing us, I think, about 380 quid.
Okay.
Return.
Right.
For 3 of us.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So what the hell's going on here? And we have checked other dates. It's not like it's
not
just
that.
a
You can check the
specific
day after. Yeah, the day after is the same price.
And again, this was when we've got these prices 2 months, nearly 2 months before we're going to go. So it's not like a last minute. There's no train tickets.
We saw this and we were like,
that can't be.
Yeah, it can't be. So we investigated it. It can be.
Yep.
And then we were like, there's no way we can put in a bill for our. They're going to be like, who chauffeured you here?
Well, that's it.
You can get a chauffeur.
With accommodation as well on that Sunday that we have to...
Yeah.
That's part of it, and they've said it's fine, but...
Do you think we could get a taxi?
It's coming to nearly £1,000.
Get a taxi for that, an Uber.
Can you get an Uber Fort William?
And back.
I reckon we could rent a car, drive it up there and drive it back again for less. A hell of a lot less than that.
Yeah, and that would be renting something from...
An EV rental.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If you wanted to stick with that. And this is the problem, isn't it? It's so obscene.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a one-off. We've checked other dates and it's...
That seems to be what you pay.
And I can't imagine it's Fort William, it's, sparsely... I'm not buying that. This is public transport.
Yeah. It's not like you get off at Glasgow and then somebody carries you all the way to Fort William, is it? On a golden throne.
Yeah.
Through the hills.
And there's only 2 trains that we've got option to on the Sunday.
Yeah, and ironically... They both land at the same time, so I'm guessing one goes a different route to the other.
But then you get the same train probably from Edinburgh.
Yeah, which is kind of pointless, isn't it?
So we have to go at a certain time. We're restricted.
Yep.
It's more expensive. So ultimately, we're not going to get the train there. We're going to take a car.
Can you imagine if, like, when we went to get your Tesla, if we're stood at the train station and we get the message, your train has been cancelled.
Not enough conductors. Yeah. And that happens a surprising amount of times for us.
I do believe that this is, I was told today by someone who's just moved to Scotland and come down for the week that there's ongoing disputes and strike action on ScotRail at the moment.
All right.
So that's another thing to take into account. But we've been at the train station before, haven't we? And the train has either not stopped.
It's just gone straight through the train
Yeah,
station.
it
There's
should
no
have stopped.
conductor on it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay.
And then we had to wait another half an hour.
Well,
Now,
with this,
that wasn't
if
a
we
problem.
miss his connection here,
We can't get
we
to
can't
Scotland.
get to Scotland.
And everything, all this organised event that we've been invited to,
Yeah.
and there's expenses for, they're expecting us to turn up there. We have to turn up there. It's an obligation.
We basically have to get the
And it'll be
train. Oh, yeah.
But we have to get there on time.
Yeah, we'd have to basically get the train an hour earlier than the one we need, and then an hour
Just
and
in
a
case
half
it gets
wait
cancelled.
then
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
Leeds before. Yeah, just in case, on the off chance it got cancelled.
And this isn't... Let's now expand into what we said before in terms of doing public transport.
Yeah.
Yes, I know we live in Yorkshire, but we're we're not far from Bradford.
No?
We're not
Not far
that
from
much
Skipton.
further from Leeds.
Yeah.
So if we just concentrate on those metropolitan
I
areas
think where we are is quite unique, isn't it? Because we're
in between everything.
North Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, Lancashire,
Yep.
and
Very on the border of almost.
Kirklees almost.
Yeah, we got a lot. But we couldn't do our jobs, could we? Genuinely now.
No.
On public transport because, I mean, predominantly...
Besides, having a boot full of laptops sometimes.
Yeah, we have to carry equipment, but even if you ignore that, we have to go from site to site and occasionally have to go there. And a few people have had to do that, haven't they, when they've had car trouble?
Yeah.
And we've had to make so many allowances. Well, I can't get to there. You
Can't get to- yeah.
have to send someone else.
Well, the thing is, you can't. If you had an emergency somewhere else, it's not like you could just drop everything and get off. Is
but
it?
you say, well, that's different. That's reactive. All right, then. My wife, she goes to the same place of work
Every day.
But I mean, she works for the emergency services. I'll say that much. And she works at the same building, and she works predominantly evening and nights.
Yeah.
For childcare.
Fits in around childcare.
There is no public transport. So, for example, tonight she's finishing at midnight.
Yeah.
So 12:30 she'll get her back.
Yeah.
There is no public transport.
Wow.
She quite often finishes at 2 a.m, sometimes 3, 4. But basically, there's no trains.
So she'd have to
and
get
there's
a
no
taxi.
bus. There's no bus either.
She'd have to get a taxi. 20-some miles?
It's nearly 20 miles each way.
Wow.
So it's a 40-mile round trip.
So she could get there with public transport, but she'd have to set off a lot earlier.
Well, she'd have to get the bus to the train station, then the train
station,
into Bradford, and then walk from the train station probably a good Dudley Hill,
Oh, you'd want to get a bus up there.
2 mile.
You'd have to get a bus up
Yeah,
there.
right. So, but it would
Bus,
take
train,
forever.
bus.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
But it's
The irony is that the train wouldn't go into the right train station.
so you'd have to get
So you'd have to get from one
Yeah.
train station to another to get a bus up.
the interchange with it.
Yeah.
So even though it's possible, it would be probably a lot more expensive than the car, the EV she's driving in. And coming back, it's there's literally no option.
I did look at some rail passes with bus travel. And it's a bit of a minefield, is this, because it's in zones.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And no one knows what zones are. They can't just call it Yorkshire, can they?
No, it's almost like you're playing some role-playing game for
Or
the Amiga.
BattleBots.
Yeah. What zone are we in now?
Yeah.
So from what I can figure, you would want this one, and the annual cost of this is almost, it's £2,405.
And that means you can go on any train and any bus.
This is
In the zone.
rail zones 1 to 5 and 7. Now, I think that
In Yorkshire.
this is for, so it includes Skipton, not Harrogate though. Harrogate's different, so you can't travel to Harrogate for a day out.
You can tell you're a Yorkshireman because only posh people who think they've moved to, who moved to Harrogate call it
Harrogate.
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 It's not Harrogate, it's Harrogate.
Harrogate.
If you call it Harrogate, there's something wrong with
So,
you.
yeah.
Anyway, moving
If you
on.
just wanted to go on the bus, I think it's going to be £2,800. It's a bit, I think, without actually trying to buy it. But yeah, it's not cheap.
over 200 quid a month,
Yeah.
which,
That means she wouldn't be able to come back using, because there's no bus or...
and if you wanted to, and that's not all your train fares, if you wanted to go outside these zones, you have to pay normal fares.
You'd be paying. I guess what you could do is buy a split ticket.
So that's just commuting
But I
effectively.
don't think they even like you doing that, do they? Using your rail card up to a certain bit.
But that's just commuting effectively and local.
That's
travel.
commuting, yeah. I think the only way that commuting works, I would guess, is if you had a 9 to 5 job in Leeds or Bradford.
Central Leeds,
Yeah.
something like that.
So say lots of you, listening might travel, might be thinking, well, if you're travelling 20 or 30 miles, an hour maybe on a train or your journey each day, that's probably all right, isn't it? But if you're doing anything outside of public transport hours, there's nothing else is available.
Given the restriction of those zones, that means in terms of distance, it's a short range EV. I guarantee I could buy an electric vehicle, a used one, or maybe even a new leased one, including fuel and insurance, for cheaper than that.
E-up.
Are you talking to me in Yorkshire?
No.
The Volkswagen
E-up.
It's A-up anyway, isn't it?
You could get, for less than that, for less than 2,400, you could get one.
At least one?
Yeah, at least one. I bet you could insure it. We certainly could.
If you can charge from home, you would be able to buy a car and fuel and insure it
around that much.
Yeah, for the same price as a local.
You could even
bus and train.
You could even get yourself just a cheap. Well, if it's even not an EV, you get cheap petrol. £100 a month, you can get some. If we're talking outside of,
not just EV world.
Yeah, so you could get your own transportation cheaper than that.
And this ultimately backs up this case, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's significantly less convenient, at least for most people. Like if I lived in London, it'd be brilliant.
A tube. Yeah. If you've got a tube or a tram, brilliant.
People in London are always complaining about public transportation. They have no idea. And not just up here. Most of the rest of the country is like this.
My brothers live in London, and they have done since they were teenagers. And when I was in my 20s, one of my brothers came up and says, come, we'll go out around Leeds. I says, we can do, but we've got to be back at the train station for about 11 o'clock.
Which is when the night's getting going.
Yeah. He's like, why? He says, to get the train. He says, we'll just get the next train. He says, no, that's for your only train. We'll get the night bus. He says, there isn't a bus.
No night bus.
He says, how do you get back from Leeds? He says, well, you don't. You get the last train, or you have to stump up a taxi.
Yeah, which is, how much is a taxi from Leeds back these days? 50,
60 quid in it, yeah. So it's bizarre, isn't it?
It would believe you, would it?
No. It's like, we get night buses all night.
That's why they call them night buses, presumably.
Yeah.
And then there's that's what I mean. I know it's not cheap if you live down there and commute, but you have no idea.
You honestly have no idea. No.
Delusional if most of the people that have grown up in London and think that's normal.
Yeah.
And then they go, it's like you're joking with them.
Well, I used to live somewhere, and it's not out in the sticks. It's an in-between place between Keighley and Halifax. And on a Sunday, when I lived there, we had no buses. Like, I used to have friends who come and stay, like, I'll get off on the Sunday. I'm like, yeah, I'll have to drop you at the station. It's all right, I'll get a bus. You'd be waiting until Monday. There's no buses on the weekend, on a Sunday. Saturday they want, Sunday they want.
On that Fort William trip, if we missed that connection, we wouldn't get in at 10 o'clock at night. We would get in at, something like 1 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
Because we'd be sleeping in the train station.
So, I mean, I do wonder in that case, is there any sort of...
if we miss that connection because of their fault...
Do they have to get you to it then?
I don't know.
Is that why it costs so much? Because Bob's going to have to take you up in car.
Or put you up in a hotel.
But it's pointless, isn't it? Because we'd missed the first day of the rally. We've taken... I think the thing is, what people don't know is that we have they might not know, we have a job as well as. So we've taken holidays. We're not getting paid to go up and do the rally. We've taken days off as holiday from our other job.
Yeah.
So we can go. So if we miss it, effectively we've just wasted our holiday.
Yep. Or unpaid.
Yeah, unpaid, yeah.
So and then if we weren't getting paid for this, not paid, expenses.
Yeah.
If I want to get to Fort William because of we're doing a video. There's a car up there I wanted. It's going to cost me all that money.
It's crazy.
£638 just to get there and back again. And again, this is November.
Yeah.
It's not like we're picking Christmas Day.
No. It's a Sunday. It's not like we're even picking like a Monday morning. Like
when you think it'd be busier. And it's just with the advent of the electric vehicle, which reduces the environmental argument compared to public transport, although it's still clearly better.
Yeah.
It just makes it laughable. Now, you said you've been doing prices in other countries?
Well, I thought is it just a thing in this country? I think it probably might be. But I thought, I'll go and see how much it costs to get a train in France. Everyone's going to French all the time, don't they? Ugh.
France is a place that exists because it's between you and other places you want to go to.
You fly over it and you go...
Yeah. You sometimes have to drive through it to get to places you want to visit.
You just typically think of frogs' legs and snails. But
Well, yeah, why not? The cliche.
yeah.
Okay,
But
so where
moving
we're
aside,
going from?
Well, I thought we'd go from Paris, just because it's nice and central,
Okay.
to Nice. Oh, nice. So
think
we put the same days in.
So there's exactly the same days as the flights to New York and the train to Fort William.
Yep. And
Same times?
same. Well, we
Whatever's
can
available,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, the price looks to be the same whatever time you go. To be fair.
All right.
Now I was kind of surprised, and I thought
It's further.
it was wrong. Yeah, it is further. Yeah, this is 1,000 kilometers, so it's about 7.
Nice is on the southern tip.
It is, yeah,
of
yeah.
France.
I mean, to be fair, it looks very nice. It looks like it could be.
It's near Monaco, isn't it?
I think
Not far from it.
it's on the nice bit of. It's a part of France that I would like to go to.
Well, well, maybe we will do one day. But anyway,
I think
so
it's
it's
very nice.
So it's further.
Very nice in Nice.
It's further than Fort William.
Yeah.
So
It
I
gets you there quicker than getting the train to Fort William.
because presumably it's not direct, is it? There's a change.
It's not. No. We change it. Marseille. Oh, then Marseille.
It's a bit blurry, to be fair. It's
is,
not
yeah.
just you can't read.
No, I can't read.
Right. So it's further. It's further and quicker.
It is, yeah.
So therefore, I'd expect it to be a similar price.
It's 99 quid for both of us return.
£200
No, 99 quid.
return.
Yeah, for both of us. Oh, no, so each.
Oh,
£200.
So it's £200 for the same thing that we're paying 638 to.
Yeah, and it's
So
further.
it's less than a third of the price
It is, yeah.
of the Fort William one. So that just makes the UK a joke,
It's
a
crackers.
comical
It's
joke.
absolutely crackers.
And even going down to London and back and that, on what you call like a mainland,
Oh, yeah.
a main line sort of thing, which you should be going anyway. But yeah, even that's not anywhere near that sort of value.
No. So when you're going to London,
yeah.
it's nothing like that, is it?
I mean, it makes you think, doesn't it?
What are we doing so wrong?
Well, environment aside, we can get to New York cheaper and quicker than bloody Fort William. How is that a thing?
I don't know, but it is.
And this is post-pandemic. It's not like they're doing, they're chucking loads of cheap flights out.
No.
Oh my Lord!
It doesn't. It doesn't bear thinking about it. I can't believe it. It is absolutely crackers.
Well, that's why we're
How
driving
do
up.
we fix this?
Subsidies, or in fact, no. Well, a bit of subsidies, but ultimately, how is it that? Why is it that expensive? What is the cost to the train company that makes it so expensive?
Yeah.
On what should be mass transportation?
Yeah.
I mean,
It should be near enough the cheapest way to get there.
well, you'd think so.
Maybe a coach might be cheaper because of the running costs of having a coach is cheaper than a train and maintaining the train line. But you would think, do the French own their own?
Nationalised.
Yeah. I wonder if that's it.
Well, I don't
I'm
know.
going to
I
have
mean,
a search.
we're getting into political stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this is highlighting the point, like the car, electric or petrol, it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not, no.
And it's not just for people who have jobs like ours or anything like that, or convenience, excuse me, because that will always be a thing. It's because it's just worse and more expensive.
Yeah.
I remember when me and Lorna started going out together, I was at Huddersfield Uni, she was living in Warrington.
You're working as a waiter in a cocktail bar.
Don't you love me? Yeah, I was living with a sister at uni, basically. In a shared house. So that's how it happened. But ultimately, every now and then I would get the train and it was on the same line from Huddersfield to Warrington. Yeah. And I remember it being £26 return. And in what at the time was a Nissan Sunny.
Nissan Sunny.
In fact, no, that came later, sorry. It was a Fiesta, my 1.1 LX Fiesta.
Wow.
Elridge. With the XR2 alloy wheels and oversized stereo.
Which is what you need.
But don't worry, it was hidden under the stealth shelf, so no one knew there was.
Were there. Yeah, apparently it said stealth shelf across it.
I remember it cost me £11 petrol there and back, and it took me half the time. So even what was, Jesus, 20 years ago,
it's still
over 20 years ago, it was still way cheaper back then. And that was on the same train line, Huddersfield to Warrington. I didn't have to get any changes. It went all the way to Liverpool. and it was half the price to drive a petrol car.
Well, the other day I was driving and I saw petrol had gone up again, and I was like,
That's gone up a lot, hasn't it?
that's really expensive. I mean, it's gone. And I'm putting another tenner in my car from this time last year at Philip.
Were you on with me when we were going up on services, and it was £1.53 at service?
Yeah, that's when we were in the...
And that was normal petrol?
Volvo, yeah.
£1.53 per litre.
So the other week I paid, because I'm just posh and I like to put 99 in, I paid £1.46
per litre.
Yeah, and I thought that was expensive, but now I'm seeing the cost of getting a train and thinking it's quite cheap, actually. Puts it in a perspective.
Jeez.
It's crackers, isn't it? It really is.
So
but when we got the train, so a couple of weeks ago we got a train to Leeds for a work do, a couple of drinks.
Oh, yeah.
It was... Last time I went to Leeds from the same stop, it was £2.40 or £2.60 return.
Were you 16 at the time or something?
No, we were 20s.
So, a long time ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was nearly £10.
£8 something, yeah. £8.40, I think. Which isn't bad by today's standards, but it's still if you went there every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, again,
that was off peak as well.
We had to get the train back at 11 because we wouldn't have been able to get home otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember having to go out, because occasionally you go out in Leeds because that was it's like the biggest...
Fashionable.
Well, it was the best city close by.
Yeah.
You either made sure there were at least 3 or 4 of you that you could split the taxi on the way back, or you had to get a travel lodge in Leeds.
To get off with somebody to get back.
Yeah.
It's 10 to 2.
10 to 2, anyone will do. You live in Leeds. But that's the thing, isn't it? It needs to be maybe not as convenient, but it needs to work for people.
Which clearly it's not.
Not even close. I mean, I know we've picked a certain journey.
But it's only relevant because we want to do that journey.
We have to.
Well, yeah.
That's part of the job of what we've been given.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had to do that every month, it would be genuinely phenomenally cheaper to buy a brand new electric vehicle and drive up and down the country.
Well,
you would save time and money compared to public transport.
You get a very nice EV as well for that price and still save money.
Yeah.
Or get a lesser expensive one and have some nice holidays, or buy a second home on the Algarve.
And this is the thing: it should never be this way for what is base transport.
Yeah.
It's for anybody to get onto. I mean, Alice next year will have to get a bus to upper school.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much that is. I mean, no doubt we can get a card because she'll be 11 years old, 12 years old.
Travel card or something.
But I bet that's a lot more expensive than we think it will be.
Oh, yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's not cheap.
And all she's doing is getting a bus 2 miles down the road.
Yeah.
2.5 miles down the road. If it weren't for the hill, I'd give her a bike.
Yeah.
But it makes me semi-angry because it's meant to be for everyone, and it clearly isn't. But people say electric vehicles are expensive.
Well, clearly...
Look at this.
Yeah, clearly not when it's compared to travelling to Scotland.
I won't mind if it was like a lot quicker.
Well, yeah, if there was,
if there was a reason for it.
Yeah, if you said, oh, well...
Like getting first class.
It's going to take you an hour and a half. All right, well, I'm up there.
It's worth it.
Massively quicker.
Yeah.
Well, flying. If you could fly to Fort William, and that was the price to fly.
We're trying to make, the UK net zero by 2050 by forcing people off, high capacity trains.
Yeah. Onto
the road.
Yeah, onto the road.
Or planes.
This is it.
Actually, whilst you got your laptop out, can you fly from Leeds Bradford to, well, I guess it'd have to be Inverness, wouldn't it? And then we'd have to get a train from Inverness and it'd ruin it all. But it'd be interesting to find out how much a flight to Inverness is from Leeds Bradford, which is our closest airport. I know we'd never do it because you'd have to get to the airport as well.
Leave it down, would you?
Well, it might be electric plane.
So
but
here
ultimately,
we go.
that's it. So, there is flights then. You can.
There is, yeah. So basically, let's have a...
Well, you go check that. So... what's going on?
Oh, no flights. Well, I can do it.
Pick a date.
Sunday the 7th, when we go.
Oh.
So that is going to take...
From £300, does that say?
Yeah, roughly. But it's going to take 6 hours.
Eh?
I think it must go via somewhere.
I'm going to say. I could drive it quicker than that, almost. Not Inverness.
I did put Inverness down.
I'll let you come back to
There you go. Leeds to Inverness.
I bet you it goes to like a Norwegian airport and
It's got one stop somewhere.
Oh, here we go. Where's it sending you? It should be funny.
Click
Leeds to Inverness via Copenhagen, does that say?
I think so, isn't it?
Oh no, I've read it wrong.
Oh, it's
City. Oh no, is it? Where is it? Amsterdam. So it's taking us to Amsterdam to fly to
but
Inverness.
still quicker and cheaper.
It's quicker to fly to Amsterdam and back to Inverness than it is to get a train to Fort William.
And quicker, quicker and cheaper.
Oh my
That's
god!
with KLM.
Wow,
That is crazy.
how is that even? Oh Jesus!
How is that even possible?
Yep.
That is-
The economics of it make no sense to me.
no.
I can understand the plane being cheap because it's lots of people or whatever, but I can't understand why the train's so expensive. And multiple trains. We've done we've shopped around it, not just with Fort William.
No.
We should point that out. It's not just
That
cherry
is-
picking anything.
Very strange, isn't it? It really is. Yeah.
So should we go to Amsterdam, have a bit of fun there? Not that type of fun before you think about it, and then fly up
thinking
to
cycling.
Inverness.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Then go to Inverness.
It's just absolutely bizarre. So effectively, for the environment, because you can't tell people to go in something that's unaffordable, we have to get them into something else that a lot of people it's unaffordable for, an electric vehicle.
Well, do we just stop travelling?
Work from home.
Yeah.
Well, if you can.
Yeah. That means that the YouTube channel is going to be slightly more boring.
Yeah.
Right, we're at home again.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer to. I mean, this is clearly a bigger problem than we know the solution to. But
You got to look at that.
maximum price or something per mile of trains.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they're putting all this money into HS2, aren't they?
Which apparently isn't now coming to Leeds.
What I mean, the thing is, for me, is they've done it for business links. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know any person in business who is travelling to London to have a meeting when we've spent the last 18 months using Zoom.
Proving you don't need to.
Yeah, proving that you don't have to travel anywhere to have a meeting with somebody via a webcam and a laptop.
Well, they're saying it'll open up the north
Who from
and
London?
the Midlands because you'll be able to get to London and back.
Who from London
that's
wants-
just making more people go to London quicker.
Who from London wants to go to the north or the Midlands? This is where they used to build cars. This is where they used to make steel. Can we go home now? Yeah, this is where they used to have coal.
Yeah, we don't want them up here. We don't want that train bringing all those southerners up here.
And maybe the money from HS2 would have been better spent just
Subs-
working on the current infrastructure.
But then we probably can't cope if it was cheap enough for everyone to actually use it. And herein is the cyclical problem that we find ourselves in. But even if we go back to the original point of this, we're now having to take a car to Scotland and back.
Yeah, and we might. I mean, if we have to get from one place to another, there, that's because we have to figure that out when we're up there, aren't we?
But so are we? That's a good point. I mean, is it better environmentally to get an electric vehicle to Fort William and back than several trains? May or may not be all electric. I don't know.
But the last leg isn't.
Is it not?
No.
It won't be electrified.
Glasgow to Fort William, I don't think it's electric.
Is it Glasgow or Edinburgh to Fort William?
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
So it'd be interesting to find out whether it is. Well, I guess it's just so many variables, isn't it?
If the train's full.
Is the journey itself greener?
Yeah, is the train full would make a big difference as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The more people on it, the cleaner
The cleaner it is.
it is because there's more, divided by more people. But other countries don't have this problem, clearly.
No. Other countries have a train system that seems to work for them. I do believe, just Googling the French railway system, it does say that in 1938 it was fully nationalised. So whether that's...
Thing is, though, when we had British Rail, it wasn't hardly a pinnacle of train travel for Europe then either, was it?
No, but I think
But I think it would be better.
better than what we have at the moment.
Well, ultimately, at the moment, we're paying for people to run a train system
Paying private people
and make a profit,
Yeah.
and then they can sell it to someone. Oh,
Yeah.
I wangled the
Let's just check
audio cable then with my foot. Testing.
we're still on.
No, we're still on. I
That's
haven't
good.
damaged the
Yeah.
audio. So yeah, it's. I don't know. It for me is just a position that I don't see a way out of. It's something that shouldn't exist but does. So effectively, we're just going to have to rely on the public charging infrastructure getting good enough to people drive around in electric vehicles.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So
Unless you're in a city
we
centre.
force people off of trains into electric vehicles because it's greener.
Until we can get a truly autonomous. Yeah, I guess what you little trains.
Yeah.
Which is what an autonomous car would turn into, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah.
Private hire buses, almost taxis without a driver.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Johnny cabs.
Yeah. Get the Johnny cabs bringing in.
I'm just going to have a look, just because it just popped into my head there with coaches. Can we get a coach?
Oh, from Leeds to from Skipton or Leeds or wherever to Fort William.
And the answer is no. I'll take that off. Just put one way. Oh, yep. There's one way,
Okay.
and that's for one person.
So where do we go? Leeds to York, and then to Edinburgh, and then to Glasgow, and then to Fort William. How long does that take?
That takes 9 hours,
Okay.
and that's £155 a person.
One way.
Yeah.
So that's £300. So that's the same price as a train.
We can't get a return on the same day either.
Well, we won't go on the same day.
So we can't get a return on the same day. We'll be coming back on the Wednesday. There's no return on the Wednesday.
So even if there was a return, presumably it was the same sort of price. So it's still £600 to get a coach.
Coach, yeah. Do you think it's just some? Do you know what it is? It's some guy who does stag do's and airport runs, and he's just going to come and pick you up and take you up for that price.
I wish there was an online thing to find out how much a taxi would cost to Fort William.
Could you do it on Uber? Can you get it?
I wouldn't have thought so. It'd just laugh at you. Can you imagine that? I've just got a fare, love. I'll be back tomorrow. £600 for a coach?
That's crack, isn't it?
Eh?
Let's have it.
Do you know what? I reckon if we charged up at home, we could get to Fort William on 15, 20 quid in an evening.
Yeah.
Not 600. So 40 quid
There
return.
we go. This is a coach, but this is just a Glasgow.
Right, so the Glasgow's miles from Fort William, though. It's a lot further than people
That's
think.
not too bad.
What's that?
That is, so you can get a coach.
From Leeds to...
Wow, 2 a.m, gets you to Glasgow at 8. 21 quid. Wow.
So how is it so much... How is it another £130 to go from Glasgow to Fort William? Is that the expensive bit?
I think it must be.
Wow. So is it Scotland that's messing up all this then?
I wonder
Is it
if
their
is.
public transport that's...
Yeah, causing this. But still, if looking at, where we needed to go to and from.
Again, we haven't cherry-picked this. We are going for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And we've just stumbled across what I think is absurdity.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, I wish there was a comment section in podcasts, because I'm sure there'll be loads of people listening to this thinking, oh yeah, I went here and it cost me this much, or my train is frequently cancelled.
Yeah, well, I think...
If it was ultra bulletproof reliable and comfortable, I'd be like, well, all right, there's a bit of a justification for the extra there. But it isn't, is it?
It's not, though. It's not without compromise, is it?
No, it's a worse experience all around. Can you think of anything better going on a train as opposed to going in a car? I mean, I guess it'd be more relaxing.
I think if you just wanted... I don't know. I guess it depends on who you are. If you find driving stressful...
That's assuming you're driving, of course. You might be a passenger.
Well, yeah.
You can stop when you want, although I guess you can eat and go to the toilet on a train. So there's that.
I think the train has to be a bit more relaxing either way, even if you enjoy driving, because you just sat down, aren't you, effectively?
But you have to multiple stops and changes, don't there? When you have to walk across the city centre to get another bloody train.
Is it? But if you just one big journey, like from Leeds to London or something, you can get, kids can get their iPad out and stuff like that. I guess it's no different if you
could do that in a car.
Yeah, no different, is it really? The only different would be if you went to the hassle of going first class and made it into a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
You get a bit of a meal on there, bit more like
But then you think I've just spent
an airplane.
Unless you get the Seat Frog upgrade, I've just spent £100
You'd have to get a seat
on basically a mediocre microwave meal here.
You might as well go in a car, stop at a service station, and get a Chinese.
I'll just pull Lyft somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
I mean,
on the
what's
TripAdvisor.
What's that service is when you're going to Scotland?
The one with the,
it was on the TV
farm shop.
Yeah, the TV show one. I forgot what it's called now.
That's beautiful,
Beautiful.
isn't it? Yeah, really nice.
Let's have a roast dinner.
Yeah, have a roast dinner.
In the several hours we've saved by not having to take the train.
They do carvery, don't they? Yeah.
Might have to go there on his way up,
I think
maybe.
we do that, yeah.
So
They got charger as well, haven't
no,
they? Hasn't it? There's one further up. There's another one further up, isn't there? It's a bit like
they
that.
will do soon, I'm sure. So what have we got from this? What is basically this isn't a podcast about anything other than us ranting.
Ranting about just how much we nearly had to pay for a train.
But even then, we wouldn't have had to pay for that. No. I would have felt so nervous when I sent that expenses for me. They'd have gone, 600? £638, where have they come from?
Yeah, well, we're not going to pay that because we won't pay for you to go first class.
I bet it's cheaper from London.
I
don't know who they've invited on this, but it won't be just people who live in Scotland and up north. So I'd be interested to know how much extra, if anything, from London to Fort William it would be.
Should we try
Who?
King's Cross? What's up?
I don't know. I'm bleeding.
Oh, you've got
on my face.
Your face.
I'm so angry. I've made my face bleed. I don't even know how that's happened. So, yeah, if you're listening to this,
you're very passionate about this.
If you're listening to this is basically it's a terrible podcast.
It's two old men.
It is just I've never been a fan.
It's cheaper
of
to get.
What?
Cheaper to go from London to King's Cross to Fort William.
Nah.
Yeah.
Is this on the Sunday?
Yeah.
£130.
Yep.
Each.
That's right. Each.
And it was 155 for us.
Yeah.
Or ish.
Yeah, that's right.
How can it be cheaper from London than Yorkshire?
Yeah. So they're going further.
A lot further.
Wow, it's a 10-hour journey. Yeah, a lot further. I do not understand that.
So they're presumably still doing the last Fort William leg from Glasgow that we would be.
Yeah.
So that bit's the same. It's just getting to Glasgow.
It's a lot.
So how much? So basically, it might be cheaper for us to get to London first before we get the train back.
If it was like the time then we got stuck in Milton Keynes, and it was cheaper for us to come back via Manchester than it was via Leeds.
Yeah, but that is other side of the country.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It shouldn't be cheaper.
No, it should be more expensive.
Unless, I mean, there's probably an economics behind it, like it's a bigger train or something like
people
that.
From Yorkshire in Scotland.
No, probably not. So basically, they're taking one of the poorest area of the country and making it more expensive for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But this isn't just about Yorkshire. I bet this is even worse in Wales and other parts of the UK and England and clearly Scotland too.
So to get people out of cars, we need a cheaper, more reliable.
No, we need to move to London.
Yes, yeah.
Because then you don't need a car in London and you can get anywhere cheaper than anyone else, it seems.
So we need to move to London.
Yep.
To get rid of the car.
If only we could get the train quicker there. Oh, HS2.
HS2, yeah. So if we live in London, get rid of the car. That's it. It's perfect. We'll do that then.
Right.
And all of the car launches will be on your doorstep.
That is true. They are all down south.
They are.
How is it? I feel like saying, should we go to London on Friday just for a bit of fun, and then we'll get the train from London to Fort William.
Yeah, because it's going to be cheaper.
We'll just have a couple of days away.
Yeah. Well, why not?
That is just ridiculous. Oh, I'm going to scratch the other side of my face now.
Yeah. Try to gouge your eyes out.
I didn't expect.
No, I thought it would at least be the same.
It's got to be 200, 250 miles further.
Further, yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
20% cheaper. Although I'll still come back to the fact we can get to New York and back cheaper.
Yeah, I think we've got
That's also a good one, isn't it?
So, right, would you want to go to Fort William? Oh, yeah. Oh, New York.
Well, it does make you think, why aren't I going to New York for a weekend? It's quicker than going to bloody Scotland.
Yeah.
And all we get, you know what the funniest thing out of this is? We're spending 8 How many hours is it to get to Fort William? Did it say on that?
About 8, I think.
Right, so we're spending 16 hours
Yeah.
to get what will be one, maybe 2 videos out of it for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Which will barely pay. Well, we'll probably end up spending more on that little
food.
trip and food than we'll get back from it. So
Oh, we will, yeah.
we're doing it for fun, don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, it's what we like doing.
why don't we just save us money and go to New York?
And film some cars in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well, the thing is, I have friends that go on like breaks like this to, places where you think that's a bit posh, like Monaco or New York. And I'm going, wow, I wonder how they afford that. And then I've got
less money than us.
Like aunts and uncles who go to Scotland on the train. And it's like, now I'm thinking,
How do
why
they?
don't they go to New York?
wow.
I mean,
And I've only looked in one place for the flights, I should point out. You could probably get it cheaper than that if you looked hard enough.
so next time, coming to you from New York,
I have often thought we need to go to America at some point, pandemic aside again,
Would
because there's plenty of EV stuff over there. Forgetting the irony of a transatlantic flight and the environment, ignoring
I'd
that
never
for a
fly. Don't own a pet dog. No CO2 output.
Yeah, no horse.
No horse, no.
But
Don't
ultimately,
own a pet cow.
it's ridiculous to even contemplate. It is quicker and easier and cheaper for us to go to New York and do an EV video there and then fly back again than it is to go to Scotland.
Fort William.
I mean, given the fact that I've got a Tesla with oodles of supercharger miles, we could genuinely, by charging at home and then using the supercharger network, which is in Fort William, we could get to there and back again for
For free at the moment.
£2.50.
Yeah.
And that's the
Charging
initial charge from the house.
Yeah.
Because the supercharger network, for me at least at the moment, is free.
It's free, yeah.
£2.50.
That's crazy, isn't it? We could drive to Nice.
Do you know what? If we want for time,
Do that.
why not?
Yeah. Nice, Monaco.
We need to give up as day jobs.
I think we do.
Because we'd be all over the world thinking,
we would be.
oh my God, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Using the man-mass justification of
That's
it's
it.
cheaper than Fort William. I can't believe you're going to New York again when you're spending a fortune. Yeah, but it's still cheaper than going to
Fort
Scotland.
William, yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Now I understand why it's cheaper a flight of Amsterdam and back to Inverness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I honestly, if you ask me, I can't tell you what the point of this whole podcast was, other than
Just a bit of a rant.
it is, isn't it?
There we go. Tells you how much CO2 his journey costs.
I don't know if that's good or bad compared to a car.
No.
But I guess we could figure it out. But yeah, this is an odd one. I don't know. It will go up, but we might.
Nobody will ever listen to it.
Well, they probably will, and then
Just
go, what have I
on
just
earth
listened
these
to?
two?
I've
Yeah.
wasted my
Please don't judge us on podcasts based on this one.
I think there will be a partner sat next to somebody in a car right now going, what the hell have you made me listen to?
Turn them off.
Two prats from Yorkshire complaining about the cost of something.
Yeah.
That's a shocker.
They're not going on.
They're not. They wouldn't even have to pay for.
Yeah. Not even their money. Why do they even care?
But it does raise the point, doesn't it, of the cars not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
The whole thing of we need to get people out of the cars, rubbish.
Well,
It's not going to happen. It
they're gonna have
needs to,
seriously
but it
look at
can't.
this. Yeah.
No.
It's,
Because everyone says, don't they, even if everything was electric, congestion's still going to be as bad.
well, that's the thing. It's not gonna
Traffic's
fix
still
that.
bad.
Yeah, there's still with traffic. I
You
mean,
know,
is it too broken to fix?
Best thing I think you should concentrate on is just making it even more easier for people to work from home.
Yeah.
Negate the need to commute completely.
Yeah. Do that.
I mean, it seems to be back to normal for us at the moment in terms of traffic, doesn't it? Going into
Cities.
Bradford or Leeds and back.
It is.
You know,
mental.
it's pre-pandemic traffic levels again. I expected there to be a drop-off of at least some people working from home still.
But it doesn't.
Just because it's easy.
Yeah.
Well,
On that rant.
well, yeah. I think we better come off this now because we're just going to get on other subjects which have
That
nothing
annoy
to
us.
do even more than this. So there we go. Again, I'd love some feedback on this one. We need to find
We need
a way.
a forum. I'm going to say a forum, but I mean, we need some sort of forum for people to feedback and just go,
maybe I
what
should-
the hell were you two talking about? Do a proper podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
Should we
agree
set up
with
an
you.
email address?
I think we need to set up a podcast one because, do you know, I think it'd be good if people as well could,
Give us ideas of what to talk
because
about.
it becomes difficult doing, one or two of these a week to then think about, well, hang on, what have we done? What could we do?
Yep.
If you could input and you have some great ideas.
As evidenced by what we've just done.
Yeah.
What should we talk about? Oh, I can't talk about anything. I'm so angry about that train. Well, let's just talk about that then.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we set up an email address.
Yeah, podcasts at...
Podcast or podcasts. Just to be clear, we have to podcast at ev-man.co.uk. We'll also put it on the website, which is ev-man.co.uk. And then give us feedback that way.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way of doing it, really. There will be no response to this email. So don't use it to ask questions about which is the best car to buy, because I get that an awful lot from the other form, and there's just too many to answer. So
you will take advice, so if it's written on the back of a £50 note.
Well, yes, yeah, that'll get you 30 seconds.
Yep.
That'll get you probably 10 miles outside of Yorkshire on train fares. It won't even get you a tenth of the way to Fort William.
No.
We'll have it up and running by the time this goes up.
Yeah.
Podcast at ev-man.co.uk. Give us some feedback, ideas for other podcasts in terms of topics. And maybe I think at some point as well, I'll do this through the channel where we just say, right, give us a load of questions and we'll answer them through the podcast.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to know? It could be anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be EV related. It could be anything you want.
Car related, typically, green energy, YouTube.
Favourite colour.
Yeah. YouTube. What else are we good at? Computer
problems.
Yeah. Service. We can install your servers for you.
We could do that. Yeah. Cloud migrations.
We'll do that. Look out for that. And again, there will be no response on that. Just unless it's really annoying me, and then I might.
You could put an autoresponder saying "Thank you for your email. We won't reply to this."
Yeah. Right, guys. Thanks for listening. And I think based on the ranty topic, the final words. This podcast from Harry need to be pertinent, so I'm going to give you 3 seconds to think about this one, because if for those that have never listened to the podcast, we've always ended on just one word that's come out of Harry's mouth at the last minute. We've no thought of, and this one today is
plums.